Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram
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 Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
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 Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
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 Hare
Ram
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 Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Hare Ram
Ram
Hare Ram
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 Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
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 Ram Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Ram 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 Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Rama Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Ram
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Vancha
Ram 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 Ram
kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Krishna
sindhubhyeva
Hare Krishna
patitanam
Krishna Krishna
pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo
Hare
namaha.
Ram Hare Ram
Shri
Ram
Vaishnava
Ram
Vrinda
Hare
ki
Hare
jai.
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Bhagavati Vasudha Devi Dasi from Mangalore, India. Please forgive me for stopping all of you from ecstatic chanting. Next, I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name given by Vyasadeva and Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to the next part of the session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May you know who are joining the call today.
हरे कृष्ण भगवती वसुधा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीति दासी फ्रॉम शार्लट हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Priti Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, is there anyone who would like to introduce in the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Priya Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, our Guru Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj Ji. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Vilas from Gaur.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, my Dandvat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. This is Sushmita from Mississauga, Canada.
Hare Krishna Susmita Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shyama Gauri Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharika Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, is there anyone who would like to introduce on the call today? Okay, I welcome all of you once again. Thank you everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Gaur Vilas Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 7.9.18 onwards. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over the call to Susmita Mataji for the brief introduction. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Thank you, Mataji. So, today's speaker is His Grace Gaur Vilas Prabhuji, and here is a brief introduction of Prabhuji. We are happy to have His Grace Gaur Vilas Prabhuji on our call today. Prabhuji came to Krishna consciousness in 2004. He earned a MBBS degree from Grant Medical College. Gaur Vilas Prabhuji joined the ashram in 2010, and he was initiated as a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2012. Prabhuji preaches in various medical and engineering colleges. He also conducts programs for doctors at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and in corporate environment. He is a teacher of Bhakti Sastri and Bhakti Vaibhava courses. He also conducts congregational programs in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Gaur Vilas Prabhuji has done through studies of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving me the opportunity to give the introduction about Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. Mataji, I will hand over the call to you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept all of our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association in this Bhakti Sangha conference call very regularly. We are really enlightened by your talks. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you Mataji for this opportunity to serve. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishnam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you for this opportunity to serve. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are discussing from Canto 7, Chapter 9, verse number 18. Very, very beautiful verse. Very famous verse by Prahlad Maharaj, glorifying the association of devotees. सोऽहं प्रियस्य सुहृदा परदेवताया लीला कथास्तव नरसिंह विरिञ्च गीतः अञ्जस्थितर्म्यणु गृणन् गुणविप्रमुक्तो दुर्गाणि ते पदयुगालय हंससङ्गः. Translation. O my Lord Narasimhadev, by engaging in your transcendental loving service in association of devotees who are liberated souls, Hamsas, I shall become completely uncontaminated by the association of the three modes of material nature and be able to chant the glories of your Lordship, who are so dear to me. I shall chant your glories, following exactly in the footsteps of Lord Brahma and his disciplic succession. In this way, I shall undoubtedly be able to cross the ocean of nescience. Purport: a devotee's life and duty is very well explained herein. As soon as a devotee can chant the holy name and the glories of the Lord, he certainly comes to the liberated position. Attachment for glorifying the Lord by hearing and chanting the holy name and activities of the Lord, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, certainly brings one to the position where material contamination is absent. One should chant the bona fide songs received from the disciplic succession. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that chanting is powerful when one follows the disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. Manufacturing many ways of chanting will never be effective. However, chanting the song or the narration left by the previous acharyas, Mahajano yena gatassa panthaha, is extremely effective. And this process is very easy. Therefore, in this verse, Prahlad Maharaj uses the word anja, easily. Accepting thoughts of the exalted authorities through disciplic succession is certainly much easier than the method of mental speculation, by which one tries to invent some means to understand the absolute truth. The best process is to accept the instructions of the previous acharyas and follow them. Then God realization and self-realization becomes extremely easy. By following this easy method, one is liberated from the contamination of the material modes of nature, and thus one can certainly cross the ocean of nescience, in which there are many miserable conditions. By following in the footsteps of the great acharyas, one associates with the Hamsas or Paramhamsas, those who are completely free from material contamination. Indeed, by following the instructions of the acharyas, one is always freed from all material contamination, and thus one's life becomes successful, for one reaches the goal of life. This material world is miserable, regardless of one's standard of life. Of this, there is no doubt. Attempts to mitigate the miseries of material existence by material methods will never be successful. One must take to Krishna consciousness to become really happy. Otherwise, happiness is impossible. One might say that becoming advanced in spiritual life also involves tapasya, voluntary acceptance of some inconvenience. However, such inconvenience is not as dangerous as material attempts to mitigate all miseries. Hare Krishna. A very, very wonderful classic purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this purport, Prabhupada is giving everything needed for a devotee to perfect his life. That's the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purports. One time, Srila Prabhupada, one devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you are repeating the same thing again and again. In every purport, almost the message is the same. Prabhupada said, still you are not understanding. Srila Prabhupada, he writes his purports in such beautiful ways that anyone, anywhere, any book he picks up, anything he reads, he'll come to the ultimate conclusion, what one is supposed to do. And as Srila Prabhupada, he would always tell, my purports, these are my devotional ecstasies. One time, one devotee who would transcribe the dictaphone tapes of Prabhupada, he noticed that some days Prabhupada records 20 digits. Some days records 80, 100. So he was confused. Well, Prabhupada is every day awake for 4 hours. It is not that he is, sleeping in between. He is all the while working. Then why some days only 20, some days 80, 100? He went to Prabhupada and asked, Prabhupada, what is the secret of this? Prabhupada said, my work is not like yours. You have to just hear and write down, transcribe. I have to think so that for the next 10,000 years, these books may remain relevant. So that is the contribution of Prabhupada. Every purport is a classic. And amongst those classic purports, there are some purports which are still more relishable. This is one such purport. In this one purport, Prabhupada writes everything which a devotee needs to practice spiritual life and perfect his life. As Srila Prabhupada begins this purport, a devotee's life and duty are very well explained herein. We may be thinking, well, there are so many duties I have to do as a devotee, as a householder, as a working professional, so many things I have to do in life. In this one purport, Prabhupada writes what all things a devotee should do, should practice. And he begins, as soon as a devotee can chant the holy name and the glories of the Lord, he comes to the liberated position. It requires just the beginning of Krishna consciousness to be free of all the karmic reactions. That's what Prabhupada writes. As soon as one can chant, it is not about perfectional stage. Every sentence of this purport can be, glorified, can be detailed upon. As soon as a devotee can chant the holy name and the glories, he comes to a liberated condition. It is a very tall order Prabhupada is writing here. Seems well. I'm chanting since last so many years or maybe decades. I have still not come on the liberated platform. Prabhupada is writing here as soon as one can chant. The devotee gets liberated from all the karmic reactions. That's the power of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Time again, Srila Prabhupada has emphasized this understanding. There should be no doubt about this process. As soon as one chants, one is liberated. I think all of you must have seen a very, very famous video clip where one devotee, he asks Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we have come from a sinful background. We have done so many wrong things. Will we get liberated? How much time it will take? Is it possible in one lifetime? What did Prabhupada say? 1 minute. Don't you have faith? 1 minute. So, hearing all these words, you may think, well, maybe Prabhupada is encouraging a devotee by saying this. No, it is actually the fact. And our whole process of spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, is to increase our faith in this process so that we can have this faith 1 minute. As soon as we develop that pure faith, and we have developed that pure faith. Pure faith means I don't depend on any other process. I don't go to any other devatas. I don't go to any other materialistic person. I am depending on Krishna for everything. That is a dependence Prahlad Maharaj is showing here. He is standing right in front of Nrsimhadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is he asking? If Lord appears in front of an ordinary person and asks, Vardhan, Mango, please ask for a benediction, Lord tells, that person may be having a list ready. I want my beautiful house, beautiful wife or husband, or a degree, or a wealth, or influence, or power, whatever. But Bhagavatam describes the aspirations of great devotees. What should be our aspirations in life? That is very, very important to understand. What is aspiration of a devotee? Our aspirations are not the things of the world. Shikshashtakam begins with that. Third verse, fourth verse. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Our aspirations are much, they begin at a much higher platform. They are not at the level of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And Prahlad Maharaj, he is taking it to the next level. Somebody may say, okay, I want devotional service. I want to be with you. I want to serve you, my Lord. Interestingly, Prahlad, with the Lord standing in front of him, what is he asking? He says, oh, my Lord, I want to be with your devotees. I want to serve your devotees. And this may look very strange for an outsider. But the Lord is standing right in front. The goal of the life is to be with the Lord. And you are telling, I want to be with devotees. What will you get by being with devotees? That is a very important question. Why a devotee has this aspiration? Our aspirations sometimes are very intriguing for an outsider. You want to be with devotees who are full of, who keep giving troubles to you? Serving devotees, to be with devotees, it is not always a blissful experience because devotees have their conditionings, their natures, their way of working. Ego clashes may happen, and still you want to be with devotees. Why? That's where we have to understand the secret. And to know the secret, we should dive deep in the scriptures, dive deep in the mentality and the consciousness of this devotee. Why you want to be with devotees? And this is not just Prahlad. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Soham priyasya surida paradevataya leela kathastav narsimha virincha gita. I want to be with your devotees, O my Lord. I want to be with your Hamsa Sangaha. Hamsa Sangha means I want to be with your devotees. I don't want to practice bhakti alone. I want to be with your devotees and practice bhakti. Bhakti can be possible only by being with devotees, being with bhaktas. Ekaki amar nahi paye bala Harinama Sankirtani. तुम्ही कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम धने. Alone we are no one. Ekaki amar nahi payable, alone I am helpless. Oh Vaishnavas, you have Krishna, you can give Krishna to him. Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite para, tomara shakti ache. I am a beggar. Ami to ganga. Krishna, Krishna, boli dhai tab pache pache. I'm just running helplessly behind the devotees. So this verse is very strongly glorifying and recommending association of person Bhagavat. Book Bhagavat we are reading, but as Chaitanya Charitamrita says, एक भागवत बड़ा भागवत शास्त्र आर भागवत भक्त भक्ति रस पात्र. One Bhagavat, Bada Bhagavat is book Bhagavat. But there is another Bhagavat, Bhakta Bhakti Rasa Patra, one who has received the mellow of devotion. He can only give us. Otherwise, just by reading Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam, the intricacies of bhakti will not enter our hearts. So that is very, very important to understand. This principle of being servant of devotees is the most important principle. That is the principle of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. That's the principle given by Krishna. Dasa Dasa Anudas. Krishna tells, oh Arjun, if somebody tells that he is my devotee, he is not my devotee. Then who is your devotee, oh my Lord? My devotee of my devotee is my devotee. As fifth canto, when Jad Bharat and Rahugan, they are talking, Rahugan Maharaj, he realizes that he has made a blunder. He came to know that this personality is not an ordinary person. I engaged him in carrying my this palki. He immediately jumped down of his palanquin and he offered his obeisances. He tells, oh great soul, I don't fear anyone, but I fear offending devotees. Naham Vishanke Suraraj Vajran Natyarkshashulan Nayamasya Danda Nagnina Soman Livitra Pastat Shanke Vrisham Brahma Kulavamanan. He says, I don't fear the Vajra of Indra. Suraraj Vajram Nayamasya. I don't fear the Yamadanda also. I don't fear the weapons of Agni and Vayu. I fear no one. I only fear one personality. I fear offending Vaishnavas. And then he offers his beautiful prayers and offers his obeisances. And then Jad Bharat starts speaking. He speaks a very, very beautiful verse. He says, O Rahugan Maharaj, one cannot get devotion by doing tapasya. One cannot get devotion by offering articles of worship to the Lord. One cannot get devotion by taking sannyas. One cannot attain the Lord by doing dana, tapa, yajna, anything. Then how to attain the Lord? He says there's only one way. That is when you smear the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees on your body. Rahuganai tat tapasana yati nache jaya nirvapana grihadva nachandasanai vajalagni suryai vina mahatpad rajobhishekam. When we hear all these things, we may feel, well, in the beginning stages at least, the devotees, the new devotee feels, well, zyada hi ho gaya, it is too much. Why the devotees are given so importance? I don't need anyone in between. I can connect to the Lord on my own. But the more we become advanced, the more we practice bhakti, at least philosophically, we understand the value of devotees in our life. Devotees can give devotion. Bhaktya sanjayate bhakti. Devotees will teach, as Prabhupada is writing, attachment for glorifying the Lord begins by Shravanam Kirtanam, and then the material contamination is absent. Who teaches us how to chant? We have heard about this Bhakti Lata beach. There's some monks. We have heard about Bhakti Lata beach. What is this Bhakti Lata beach? We have heard that devotee gives Bhakti Lata beach. What is this Bhakti Lata beach actually? Srila Prabhupada, he gives in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, I think in the 16th chapter, purport, one purport Prabhupada gives. What is this Bhakti Lata beach? The methods, rules, and regulations by which one is systematically trained in the process of devotional service constitutes the Bhakti Lata beach. Who gives us methods? Who teaches us rules and regulations? A devotee does that. And if somebody thinks, no, I can practice bhakti alone, that means that person has not understood devotion at all. Prabhupada again and again tells, Evam parampara praptam, only by Mahajan, following the Mahajans, we can attain bhakti. And we may, if somebody thinks, well, I can't find any Mahajan around. Every devotee around us who is sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness, he should be our role model. Anywhere we see sincerity, just learn from them. That is very important. That's how we advance in Krishna consciousness. As Rupa Goswami writes in Bhaktarasamrita Sindhu, what is the eligibility for practicing devotional service? There he writes, attraction to Krishna is only qualification for devotional service. How to get that attraction? He says, only by the mercy of a pure devotee. Or who is a pure devotee means a devotee who has pure faith. He may not be purified of the anarthas completely, but a pure devotee means he has pure faith in the process. Say Bhakta Gana hoy Dvivida Prakar, Parashad Ganar, Sadhaka Ganar. There are two pure devotees, the perfected beings and the practicing sadhakas. They both are pure. They have pure faith. A sadhaka may not be pure in his or her heart of contaminations of anarthas. They may be there, but the faith is pure. That devotee with pure faith can give devotion to others. Few days back, Gauranga Prabhu, he was giving a talk and he was telling why we are not able to make devotees when the process is so powerful. Because, he was saying, because we are not desiring anything. If we have a sincere desire to preach, for sure, Krishna will transform that person's heart. Krishna in the heart of that person, he will tell, please listen to this person. He is speaking good thing. So devotee can give devotion. Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite para, tomara shakati ache. As Krishna tells in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, Yatrichaya mat kathado jat shraddhasuyat puman na nirvinno nati sakto bhakti yogo yasya siddhida. Yadrichaya mat kathado. What is the meaning of yadricha? By one's own volition. So it is described, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, in Sridhar Swami's commentary, he writes that bhakti is free to act at will. That means independent. What is the cause of bhakti? Is it independently given to anyone? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he analyzes in his book Madhurya Kadambini, this very nicely he analyzes. He says, is pious action cause of bhakti? If somebody is pious, oh, he is qualified. If somebody is not pious, he is not qualified. Is it like that? Is fortune, mundane fortune qualification to get bhakti? Said no. If the pious activity is become the cause of bhakti, that means bhakti is dependent on piety, right? And bhakti is independent. Bhakti is yadriksha. So then pious activity cannot be the cause of bhakti. Well, then is lack of good fortune the cause of bhakti? He says, no, if we agree that lack of good fortune gives birth to bhakti, then bhakti becomes dependent on all the unfortunate things, unpredictable. It is highly unpredictable, right? And it will be imperfect. Bhakti is all perfect. Bhakti is not dependent on misfortune also. Well, then what is bhakti dependent on? Maybe bhakti is dependent on the Lord's mercy. Okay, if bhakti is dependent on Lord's mercy, then why Lord is not giving mercy to everyone? That means Lord is partial. Lord is not partial. So then, on what bhakti depends? And then he says, actually, Krishna has given the whole and soul rights to give devotion to his devotees. He has given the power of attorney to his devotees. Bhakti, which is there in the heart of a devotee, gives rise to bhakti in the heart of someone else. That is how bhakta is very, very powerful. A Madhyam Adhikari, he is powerful enough to give devotion to anyone. Only thing is needed is our sincere desire to serve, to preach. And that's why Prabhupada writes in this word, Prahlad Maharaj uses the word anjaha. It is very easy. So Prabhupada, he would tell many times, bhakti is easiest. Anjati tarmi. I will very easily cross this ocean of material existence. Is it so easy? Bhakti is easy if we are having a quality of consistency and attentiveness. These two qualities are very difficult. That's why bhakti becomes difficult. Consistency and attentiveness in our practice. In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami describes that bhakti is sudurlabha. Why bhakti is so very rare? He gives two reasons. Jiva Goswami gives two reasons in his commentary on this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is called as Durgama Sangamani Tika. He tells, first reason is because Krishna doesn't give devotion so easily. He is purchased by his devotee. That's why he doesn't give devotion so easily. He wants to make sure that the devotee will not exploit his privilege. A devotee will remain humble. A devotee will always be loyal. Then only Krishna gives devotion. But the second reason which he tells is more important for us. He says, why Krishna doesn't give devotion so easily? Because devotees don't endeavor hard enough. He quotes many verses. One of the verses he quotes is शृण्वता श्रद्धया नित्यं गृणतश्चा स्वचेष्टितं कालेन नातिदीर्घेन भगवान् विशते हृदि. He says, Shrindvata Shraddhaya Nityam. If somebody is hearing regularly with faith, Grinatascha, applying Swacheshtitam. This is a very important word which Jiva Goswami elaborates on. Swacheshta means perfect endeavor. If we are not endeavoring perfectly, this Anjati Tarmi will not happen. And that is why we feel it is so very difficult. And here Prahlad is saying Anjati Tarmi. I am practicing since so many years or maybe decades, and still the process looks difficult. Anjati Tarmi, how can Prahlad say Anjati Tarmi Anugranan Guna Vipramukto? I'll be free from the effect of the modes very easily. These two things are important to understand. Prabhupada writes, accepting the thoughts of exalted authorities is much easier than the method of mental speculation. Yeah, that is very easy. But still, our Kali Yuga mind doesn't allow us to take the advantage of this easiest process available. Still, one doubts. Still, one has some apprehensions. Still, our mind evades us. Still, our intelligence doesn't cooperate. It is so very, it creates a feeling of hopelessness. But actually, there is no scope for hopelessness in the practice of devotional service. There's a very beautiful, hope-giving verse which Rupa Goswami in his book Padyavali he writes. Padyavali is a compilation of verses. One of the verses he puts there, very beautiful, hope-giving. Prachinanam bhajanamatulam dushkaram shinvato me nairashyena jvalati hridayam bhaktileshal sasya Vishwadrichin nagaratava karnakarunya vichim Asha bindukshiptamidamupayiti antare hanta shaikyam. He says, Prachinanam bhajanamatulam shinvato me. When I hear shinvato me of the powerful, intense devotion performed by the great devotees of the past, Prachinanam bhajanamatulam dushkaram. Dushkar, they have done intense tapasya. How much hard work these previous devotees have done. We see the life of Prabhupada disciples, life of Prabhupada, our current Acharya, senior devotees, they work so very hard. They have struggled really hard. And when we compare ourselves to them, you know what happens? He says, completely speaks our heart. Nairashyena jvalati hridayam. My heart burns out of hopelessness. Nairashyena, I feel extreme hopelessness. Because bhaktileshala sasya, I am weak. I have no devotion. I have not even a drop of devotion to your lotus feet, O my Lord. What is hope for me? But you know what happens? When I hear how you are removing the sinful reactions of all the living entities, how you are showing mercy to everyone, beginning from Brahma to an ant. Vishwadrichin Agahara. O Aghahara. Aghahara means one who removes all the sins. Tava Karnya Karunya Vichin. When I hear the mercy and compassion which you are showing to every living entity in this universe, you know what happens? My heart is burning out of hopelessness. This feeling of compassion, when I hear about the compassion, Asha Bindu Ukshiptam. Ukshipta means sprayed upon. My burning heart is sprayed upon by the cooling droplets of your compassion. Asha Bindu Kshiptam idamu paitiyantare hanta shaikyam. So that is a devotee. A devotee is always hopeful. When we see our own fallen condition, we may feel hopeless. But when we see the mercy which the Lord is showing to everyone, that creates feeling of hopefulness. That's why one of the qualities of a devotee is Asha Bandha. He's always hopeful. She's always hopeful in any situation. There is no situation which can make a devotee hopeless. If a devotee, Prabhupada writes in one purport, a devotee should always be in the sanguine state of mind. In that verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it is described, Vishairanna khaila dushta hoila man, malina manna hoile nahe Krishnera smaran. In that purport, Prabhupada writes this. One should always be in the sanguine state of mind. What is sanguine state of mind? Sanguine state means always be in a positive state of mind. So all these purports, all these wonderful descriptions, they create such hopeful situation. Otherwise, the entire world is hopeless. Prabhupada writes here, the best process is to accept the instructions of previous acharyas and follow them. Then God realization and self-realization becomes extremely easy. For us, these words may look very tall, right? Extremely easy. What? Extremely easy. Every day I am falling in chanting. After one round of chanting, I doze off. Somebody has to remind me, wake up and chant more. One time, Radha Govind Maharaj was giving a class. And as soon as he started chanting Jai Radha Madhav, one devotee was sitting right in front and he started dozing off. And Radha Govind Maharaj, he spoke in Hindi. He said, "Arey, kuch bolne to de, pehle hi so gaya." He said, "At least allow me to speak something." But before beginning only you are sleeping, right? Maharaj said, "अरे कुछ सुनने के बाद सोया तो समझता है, तुम तो पहले ही सो रहा है. What is this?" No? So that is our situation many times. But still, Prabhupada, when he writes that self-realization is extremely easy, we have to just hang on to the process. We should not be hopeless seeing our own fallen condition. We should be hopeful seeing the mercy of Krishna, mercy of the devotees of the Lord. Lord is so merciful. And even if Krishna is not so merciful, although he is Karuna Sindhu, someone may say, "Arey, he's not showing mercy." Mahaprabhu is more merciful, right? He is Karuna Avatar. He is Patita Pavan, but he is not Kapata Pavan. Kapata Pavan means one who is duplicitous. A devotee, if he has a simple heart, he expresses in front of the Lord, "Oh my Lord, I'm fallen. I can't do much on my own. Please help me. Please save me. Show your mercy." Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. Patita Pavan hetu tava avatar mosama Patita Prabhu na pai vyar. Interestingly, in one situation we hear in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even Mahaprabhu gave up. The story of Kal Krishna Das. Mahaprabhu was in South India with Kal Krishna Das. He was seduced by Bhattathari women. Mahaprabhu had to go behind him and save him. Ultimately, he returned to Jagannath Puri, and as soon as he returned, he told Swarup Damodar, "Please take this person away. I don't want to see his face. You do whatever you want to do with him. I have nothing to do with this person." Mahaprabhu rejected Kal Krishna. Can you imagine the embodiment of mercy rejecting someone? What is the hope for that person? Is there a hope for that person? Etashuni Krishna Das Kandite Lagila Madhyan Korite Mahaprabhu Chaligela. Mahaprabhu left. And Krishna Das, he was just crying bitterly. What happened to me? But Now, you're thinking, well, is there a scope for this person? Yes, still there is hope for that person. Nityananda Jagadananda Mukunda Damodar Chari Jane Yukti Tabe Korila Antar. Even if Mahaprabhu gives up on somebody, which will never happen. This story is an exceptional story. Mahaprabhu performs such pastimes to tell us the importance of some principles. But even if it happens, the devotees are our hope. All the devotees are thinking, Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, Swarup Damodar, and Damodar Pandit, they are all thinking what to do with this person, how to again engage him. And then they sent him to Shachi Devi. So there is unlimited hope. There is no one who can say, I am not seeing any hope. That means we have not understood the process itself. If we are thinking hopelessness, it is a hopeless situation. No, there is hope for everyone. Yakenapi bhagyena jata shraddhasya sevane. Rupa Goswami writes, Yakenapi ati bhagyena. If somebody has ati bhagya, extraordinary fortune, he gets association of devotees. Not everyone gets association of devotees. And therefore, throughout the Bhagavatam, we see all the devotees, they are asking what? Please give me association. Lord is standing right in front and he's saying, I want association. It is bewildering for an outsider. You're asking for association. Lord is standing right there. Just tell him that take me back to spiritual world. You are asking for association. These devotees have troubled you all your life with so many services. Every now and then, Prabhuji, you didn't come for program. You're not there for seva. And so every now and then feedback. And you want to be with them? Yes. You want to be with the devotees. Because they are our hope. They can catch our ears when we get distracted. That's why Parikshit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Chitraketu Maharaj, Vritrasur, all the devotees, they are asking for this one thing. Similar, very similar verse, Dhruv Maharaj tells. The Lord is standing right in front of him. And what is he praying? Two classic verses. One of them is glorifying the devotee association. Bhakti muhu prabhatam tvai me prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayana yenanjasolbanamuru vyasanam bhavabdhim neshe bhavad gunakatham He says, please bless me bhakti muhu prabhatam. I want to practice bhakti constantly, not alone. Tvai me prasango. I want to be with your devotees. These devotees, Bhuyadananta Mahatam Amalashayana, they are transcendental, they are uncontaminated. Lord may say, okay, I can understand your emotions, but still you'll be fearful because of this material existence, right? Have you made any plans to cross this material world? Or you will be just Hari Bol, we are with devotees. Have you made any plans? He says, oh my Lord, there is no difficulty at all for me. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, you know what Dhruva does when he hears this? He raises his hands in the air and he says, yes, my Lord, I have made this plan. What is your plan? Association of devotees. What will happen with that? Vyasanam bhavabdhyam. He gives 4 adjectives to this material world. Ulbanam, Uru, Vyasanam, and Bhavabdhi. Yena, this material world, it is Ulbana, it is terrible. It is Uru, it is great. Vyasanam, very absorbing. And it is an ocean. He says, Are Anjasa I'll cross. As Prahlad Maharaj says, Anjat Tarmi. Dhruv Maharaj also says the same thing. Yena Anjasa Ulbanam Anjasa. I'll very easily cross. In fact, I'll not even register the problems of this world. Neshye, how will you not register? This problem is so very intense. This is terrible material world. Because I will be absorbed in Krishna Katha. Neshye bhavad guna kathamritapana mattah. I'll be intoxicated in Hari Katha. Srila Prabhupada writes there, although material world is like a blazing fire, samsara dava nalalida loka, but for a devotee, it appears to be full of pleasures. As Prabodhanand Saraswati Thakur says, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate begins Kaivalyam Narakayate, Trijdash Pura Akash Pushpayate. In that series, he says, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. This world is all wonderful, full of pleasure. What is so good about this world? A devotee who is absorbed in Krishna, he doesn't experience the distress of the world, or the distress of the world doesn't register. It is there, but it doesn't register in the mind because the happiness is so much. Just like a mother who has just given birth to a child and she has to be awake whole night for sometimes for days. But for that mother, that distress, that pain doesn't register at all. Why? She's absorbed in her love for the child. That is the absorption of a devotee. That is our goal. The more we are absorbed in Krishna Katha, we will not register the pains of the world. It will be there, they'll trouble us, but it will not make us miserable. Miseries are compulsory, suffering is optional. So that's why he's saying, Neshe Bhavadguna Katha Amritapan Matta. I'll be absorbed in Krishna Katha. It is not at all a question for me. Chandanam Shitalam Loke Chandana Dapi Chandranama Chandra Chandana Yor Madhye Shitala Sadhu Sangati. In this world, the moon rays are very cooling. Chandanam Shitanam Loke. Even more pleasing than that is Chandanam is pleasing. This verse is Chandanam Shitalam, and more pleasing and cool than Chandan is Chandrama. But even better than Chandan and Chandrama is Shitala Sadhu Sangati. When we are with the devotees, the association of devotee is more pleasing. How it is more pleasing? It subdues the fire of the material existence. Externally, it may create lots of heat because of so many services, because of being together, tolerating each other. But internally, it creates a wonderful feeling of satisfaction. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, a devotee knows it was worth it. Whatever endeavors, whatever problems I went through, Tomar sevaya dukkha hoye jata seyoto parama sukha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Oh my Lord, whatever pains I am going through in your service, they are the causes of my greatest happiness. Because when I am serving you, that pain will remove the pain of material ignorance. Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nashai avidya dukkha. So therefore, devotees, they give us devotion, they give us this understanding, they give us this philosophical understanding, they give us affection. After all, As a devotees, as practicing sadhakas, we have to know, we have to understand. To sustain devotees, we need to love devotees. Jayadut Maharaj once he was telling, now in ISKCON, we all need is grandmothers. This is coming from Jayadut Maharaj. So please understand the importance of this. A person who is known for a very, very externally not so emotional person who shares of all the katha, he's known for his very strong hold on philosophy, very straightforward answers. He's telling we need grandmothers. What is the meaning of that? That means we need devotees who love each other. We have lots of philosophy now. All the philosophy is there. But if the philosophy is not coming in our life and transforming others, if we are not practicing that philosophy and helping others, caring for others, then the purpose is defeated. So ultimately, Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of such loving exchanges where devotees are very sensitive about dealings with each other. There's a beautiful pastime we all must have heard many, many times. Shivanand Sen, he's taking yatra of all the devotees to Jagannath Puri. He is the whole and soul of this yatra. He is sponsoring everything. At one point of time, Nityanand Prabhu, he goes and he asks, where is my accommodation? And Shivananda Sen was not there. And somebody told, oh, we don't know, Nityanand Prabhu, please wait. And then by that time, Nityanand Prabhu comes, Shivanand Sen comes. Nityanand Prabhu is so angry, he hits Shivanand Sen on his chest. Shivanand Sen is in ecstasy. I am touched by the lotus feet of Nityanand Prabhu. But the nephew of Shivanand Sen, Shrikant, he is offended. He is thinking, what does Nityanand Prabhu think of himself? My uncle is also associate of Lord Chaitanya. She leaves that devotee association, that party of devotees, goes ahead and meets Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to complain. And it is a custom still in South Indian temples in India that when you go in front of the Lord, you have to remove your upper cloth. So Shrikanta, when he went in front of Mahaprabhu, he didn't remove his outer cloth and he offered obeisances like that. Govinda kahe aage petangi utar. Govinda says, oh, Shrikanta, please remove your upper cloth. It is an offense. Mahaprabhu says, please don't stop him. Bahu dukh paiya che. He is distressed in heart. Don't correct him. Shrikanta saying, when he hears this, he feels so very satisfied that Mahaprabhu knows my heart. That is our devotee interaction. Rather than judging a person, rather than passing out some comments when we take care of the devotees, when we are sensitive to the surroundings, when we try to know why a devotee is behaving in such way, then we will go much ahead in our spiritual life. That is how the association of devotee teaches us how to become more and more refined individuals with a soft heart. Because ultimately, a soft heart can please the Lord. That is the definition of Bhava Bhakti. Mastrina Swanto, when the heart is very soft. Mastrinata is like butter. In Ramanand Sambad, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks Ramanand Rai, of all the distresses in this world, what is the greatest distress? Ramanand Rai says, Krishna Bhakta Viraha Vina Dukkha Nahi Dekhi Par. To be bereft of the association of devotees is the greatest distress. So therefore, again and again, the description comes where we are reminded how devotee association is so very important. It is indispensable. And this verse is a classic example of that. And Srila Prabhupada, he writes, just follow the instructions. By following the footsteps of great acharyas, one associates with Paramhamsas and they are free of material contamination. And that will make one happy. Prabhupada writes, anything you do in this world, you will have to undergo some tapasya. So there is some tapasya involved in spiritual life, bhakti also. Better to take that tapasya. Yesterday, I think day before yesterday, Chaturmas has begun. People, the devotees, they take lots of efforts to practice this Chaturmas. Some people they eat once a day, some people they eat only, they don't eat grains, some people avoid sweets or fried or many things people do. Bodily tapasya is good, but more than that, in these 4 months, we should try to do tapasya for our tongue of speaking. Try to speak only about Krishna. Try to avoid finding faults of devotees. That is more difficult. Last week only I was telling one group, want to take a challenge? Take a challenge of, I will not find fault with anyone for next 1 week. Oh my God, it is big tapasya. One Mataji, she was telling, Prabhuji, पेट में दर्द हो जाएगा नहीं बोलेंगे तो she was saying my stomach will start beginning. It is so very difficult, right? So, but ultimately we have to do this thing, not to find faults. Try to chant more. Try to respect everyone. This is a bigger tapasya. Try to read scriptures. Physical tapasya is okay. But try to do this type of tapasya and this chaturmas. That will be better. Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Anybody has any questions?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very, very wonderful class. Right time as Janmashtami is coming, you're helping all of us to build our emotions and seva mode. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very wonderful lecture. Yes, I request. There are no hand. Yeah, Radha Jyoti Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for allowing me to ask the question. Dandavat Pranam to you. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving wonderful session on the association, though I take it very lightly and conditioned for this. But I have a question. You mentioned about one shloka, the devotee don't endeavor hard enough, and you mentioned one shloka there, Shravanam something. Could you please mention that shloka, please?
It is in Bhagavatam. This verse says, Shinvata Swakatha Krishna, Shinvata Shraddhaya Nityam, Grinatascha Swacheshtitam. You can search Shinvata Shraddhaya Nityam, you will find this verse. Kalen na atidirghena Bhagavan Vishate Ridhi. If we are endeavoring perfectly, Krishna will quickly enter the heart. Na atidirghena, not very far. It will not take much time. So that is there. Srinvata Shraddhaya Nityam. Regularly, Swacheshtitam. With perfect endeavor. Kalen na atidirghena Bhagavan Vishate Ridhi. Yeah. Hare Krishna. 284. Okay. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I have one more question.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the consistency and attentiveness. And sometimes it's easy for to be consistent without attentiveness. because of some vows we do that. But the attention is, it has some dynamics that I understand, but I don't know what exactly it is. So could you please mention how we should what exactly we should do to bring that attention consistently, though it's not easy to practice on attention part, right? Because we have that tendency to give energy somewhere else rather than focusing on that particular movement for that particular service. So what how we should practice on that attention part, Prabhu? Could you please mention or teach on that?
Yeah, that is the most important part. After some time, we can go in the auto mode. It's like a flight, like flying in auto mode. On one hand, feedback is there, chanting is going on in the mind, other chanting is going on. That is default. That has become default setting now many times. As soon as we take feedback in our hands, mind says, "You keep chanting, I'm going." So the whole process of our Krishna consciousness is to remind ourselves again and again. Maybe after every mantra, we have to remind ourselves that I'm chanting. I have to chant the names of the Lord. Consistency is okay. Sometimes it is possible after some years of practice, but to increase the quality, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells in Madhurya Kadambini, a devotee he goes through 6 levels of anisthit bhajan. First is Utsahamai. Utsahamai means the waves of enthusiasm, sometimes up, sometimes down, never consistent. Just like new devotees, they come and tell Prabhuji, Jo Seva Bolo, I am ready to do. Even at the middle of the night, you call me, I'll be there. And some days they're missing at all. Where is that devotee? I don't know, not seen at all. So then he comes and says, Prabhuji, I did so much of bhakti, I wanted a break. So that is Utsamai, then Ghanatarala. Then after still more practice, a devotee goes to the process of sometimes very intense. Sometimes he's very intense and sometimes he's very, very diluted. Ghana. Then after some practice, he goes to a next level that is called as Vishaya Sangha. Still can't take away the mind from sense objects. Still I'm chanting, but still attraction for sense object is much more powerful. After some more practice, goes to the next level. It's called as viewed vikalpa. Viewed vikalpa means I'm not able to understand which ashram is good for me. Should I join and should I stay? Should I get married? Should I join temple? Or should I practice bhakti in city? Or should I go to village? So many problems, so many decisions he has to take. He's always confused. After practicing some, he gets to over that and comes to the 5th level. That is called as Niyamakshama. Niyamakshama means now he wants to increase the quality of his devotion. He is a steady devotee, he is chanting every day, he knows which ashram, he knows what to do, which seva. Quality of devotion is not able to increase. That is called as Niyamakshama. And then after some days or some years maybe or some decades, these 6 stages may take decades or maybe lifetimes, depending on our intensity. The 6th stage is Taranga Rangini, where a devotee is very famous, well known for his steady practice of bhakti, so much name, fame, worship. So it is natural to go through all these, phases of anishtita bhajan. But a sadhaka, his duty is, or her duty is, as soon as he or she realizes that I am going away or I am getting distracted, bring the mind back. That is in our hand. So slowly this attention part will come. Otherwise, consistency is okay after some years. We all can do consistently. Attention is most important. That decides our advancement in Krishna consciousness. How attentive we are in our dealings, in our chanting, in our hearing, in our seva, in our prayers. That decides our advancement. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about the hang on, and you mentioned that we should be hopeful that we should see the mercy of Lord and how the mercy of devotees are there. So I wanted to know how we should see that hopefulness. You mentioned that we should hang on to the process, right? So what is that hopefulness you were mentioning about? What's the concept of that, Prabhu?
Hopeful that I will also get delivered. I will also develop someday, I'll also develop some taste for chanting. Many devotees have attained this perfection, and I am not so fallen. There is nobody as fallen who cannot be delivered by Krishna. So there is unlimited hope for everyone. Our anarthas, our conditioning should not make us hopeless. Our hopelessness should increase our enthusiasm to practice bhakti. If we are hopeless and becoming depressed, that means we are hopeless for wrong things. We are focusing on our own strength to practice bhakti. That will not solve the problem. Our hopelessness should make us more dependent on the mercy of the Lord and mercy of the devotees. Then the hopelessness is okay. Because anyways, we can't do anything on our own. That's a hopeless situation. But our hopelessness should make us more dependent, more prayerful, more serious. And that will attract the mercy of the Lord. Ultimately, we need association. Ultimately, it is very important because, very, very classic example is Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami was taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 2 months at Varanasi. And then as he is coming back from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri, he drinks some water and he gets infected. His body is full of boils, and he was thinking, can you imagine Sanatana Goswami thinking like this? He says, what is the use of this body? I can't do anything for the Lord. Let me commit suicide. I'll go to Jagannath Puri and throw myself in front of Jagannath cart. Can you imagine Sanatana Goswami going through this phase? This is a very, very important story which every devotee should always remember. However intelligent, however empowered, accomplished one may be, however advanced one may be, we all need devotees to help us in our certain life situations where we'll become hopeless, where we'll think, I don't know, will I advance? Will I come out of this phase? And it is very difficult to surrender to some devotee and tell, I am going through this problem. Especially when one is an externally advanced devotee. What will devotees think about me? Prabhuji, you also have this problem? Oh, I thought you are a pure devotee now. That humility attracts the attention of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Eternally grateful to you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for that question. Yeah, next I request Pitambara Prabhuji, you can ask your question.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, everyone. Dhan Pranam, always Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. What a wonderful class, Prabhu. Really grateful to you. I have got a short question when you referred at the end of the class where you said, Vacho Vegam, Jiva Vegam. So the very first instruction of nectar of instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, and other three. Prabhu, it is so difficult. I must confess. Vacho, of course, out of control. Manasa, as you alluded, the mind, we try to chant and then we bring it back again, it goes again, it's a constant exercise. And then Krodha Vegam, this Sansara, there are so many things happening all at a time. Although we know it is bad, but at times we tend to lose the temper, whether devotee or non-devotee. But when we see that something is not being done right, but still we need to control. Prabhu, it's very, very difficult. We know the theory, we know the philosophy, we know the importance, but Prabhu, how to please enlighten us and everyone, please, how to control those?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are all on the same boat. We have to just stay on the boat. Only thing which is needed is we should not be, we should not lose our patience. Utsaha, Nishan, and Dhairya. We should not overestimate ourselves. And then still I have this problem. Still I am going through all these difficulties because we are just seeing this lifetime perspective. Billions of lives we have accumulated all these anarthas. It will not go so easily. What we are doing is insignificant. I'll give you an example. Our practice of devotional service. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a wonderful example. He says, the practice of bhakti which we are doing is like a person who is given a straw of grass and his task is empty an ocean. How to empty ocean with a grass? Dip the grass in the ocean without one drop will stick, throw it. That's how you have to empty the ocean. What is the possibility? Yeah. So basically, whatever we are practicing, our endeavors are like that straw of grass. Our daily chanting, distracted chanting, sleeping in the class. At least I can say about my own experiences. We should not have unnecessary expectations with ourselves. Try your best, but we should not think our endeavors will take us to perfection. Our endeavors will attract the mercy of the Lord, which will take us to perfection. So all our anarthas, they will go on till last moment of our life. It may go on, as Krishna says, Shaknoti hai vyashodum prak sharir vimokshanat kam krodhot bhavam begam sayukta sasukhi naraha. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, marte dam tak ho gayi, it will go till last breath of your life. Just tolerate. Till when? Prak sharir. Till the time we have this body. So why to have unnecessary expectations about our own practice? Do your best, but don't expect that. You should not expect that our practice will make us advanced. No, sir. Our practice will attract the attention of the Lord and mercy of the Lord. That will take us in. Ultimately, we are, as Haldar Maharaj was telling once, ultimately we are Kripa Siddha only. Because our sadhana can do nothing for us. Our sadhana is to attract the Kripa. Okay. So we should not get so much disturbed seeing our own anarthas. But still, even after hearing all this, we will need person, devotee who will help us. Sanatana Goswami knew all the philosophy. Still, he needed intervention of Mahaprabhu. So when we are in crisis, we should go to some devotee who can help us, enlighten us. That will be our savior. Hare.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. But just a corollary question to that, Prabhu. Uh, yes, it is true that the other devotees can guide us. We depend on Krishna's mercy. Uh, but the fact also remains that while we are all sadhakas, we are practicing sadhakas. We pray at the lotus feet of Krishna to give us all those bhakti and all. But these things, vacho vegam, jiva vegam, manasa krodha, this thing creates impediments, Prabhu. This thing creates disturbance in our sadhana practice too. And that disturbs us more, that I'm getting disturbed by something which is, as Arjuna says, Chanchala Mana Krishna Pramadi Balvadradam Tasyaham Nigraham. Why Rivacha Duskram? Arjuna also confesses, and Krishna says Asansaya Mahabhava. But then I regret many times that why is this creating disturbance when I don't want it, but when I don't want it still, and that is the biggest loss in our sadhana, Bhakti Prabhu. Please, if you can throw some light on that.
Yes, Prabhuji, your eagerness and desperation is actually needed. When we are repenting, when we are eager, when we feel bad about our fallen condition, that is needed. And as I quoted that verse, when I see the bhakti performed by the devotees of the past, I am really feeling hopeless, seeing my own problems, as you are saying. But still, two things we have to do. Put your best, whatever we can, praying to the Lord again and again, and not be depressed and hopeless. That is very important. Otherwise, if we are impatient, thinking I'm practicing since so many decades, nothing is happening, it will not solve the problem. It will make us more disturbed in mind. When we think about our fallen condition, it will make us more disturbed. We should think about how Krishna is merciful. That will make us peaceful. And that peaceful mind can practice bhakti more steadily. Otherwise, it is a loop. I'm focusing, I have these problems, and my mind is focusing on the problems, and I'm becoming more disturbed. As a result of that disturbance, I can't focus on the holy name more, and this vicious loop will go on. So, what we have to do is we should not focus on our problems. Try to pray to Krishna and focus on the mercy of the Lord, taking shelter of devotees. And trust me, mind will become peaceful. You will be able to practice bhakti with more enthusiasm and determination. Just focusing on the problems have never solved any problem. We have to focus on the solutions. Many devotees, they focused on the problems and they have become disturbed, depressed, left. We are there to focus on the solutions. That will take us ahead. Problems are unlimited. Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that very, very wonderful answer. Next, I request Ram Prabhu, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm really very grateful to you, Prabhuji, for giving such a motivational class. A person like me is always looking forward for such classes where we see lots of hope. Prabhu, the question I have for myself is mostly answered in the last two questions. Still, I will ask Prabhuji, the Padyavali verse you quoted and explained wonderfully. It deals with when we are meeting some great devotees, the feeling of humility is there, and then also I'm having hope that yes, Srila Prabhupada is there, all the Vaishnavas are there. So Prabhuji, this mood, both moods, how to maintain both the moods, Prabhuji, at the very very same time while performing bhakti? Because when I'm seeing, Prabhuji, that yes, lots of hope is there, Srila Prabhupada is there, then it's kind of I'm just doing it externally, and there is no love for Srila Prabhupada. It's just like, it's just like I'm entering into comfort zone more by this thought. So how to maintain the humility at the same time, so much hope that yes, my sadhana is nothing, like that sparrow and Garuda came, as you told that Trina in the example given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakurpal. So please enlighten. Secondly, Prabhuji, I'm always very keen to hear your glorious lectures. I've been hearing you from past around 1.5 or 2 years, your chapati lecture and everything. So if there is any community, Prabhuji, I'm new to this group. So if I can be added, then I'll be really grateful. So sorry for taking so long time, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So yes, it is, as you said, how to maintain that mood. Otherwise, we can go in the comfort zone. Prayers are indispensable for a devotee. It is not that I read a very wonderful line, you must have heard this. Prayers are not the stepney wheel to be used in emergency. Prayers are steering wheel which drive us throughout our life. Many times we use prayers as stepney wheel. Oh, now problems have come, let me pray intensely. Devotee's life is life of prayers. As one time Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was on a book launch of Journey Home book, and one reporter came and asked, Maharaj, Swamiji, are you a author? You have written such a wonderful book. Maharaj said, I am a prayer. I just pray and Krishna reveals and I write. So that's a very profound statement. A devotee should be a prayer. And the more intense we are in our prayers, and when we pray, it is our responsibility to act accordingly. Oh Krishna, please show mercy so that I can chant attentively. And when we are sitting for chanting, we have a mobile in our hand. That means our prayers and our actions are not matching. So intense prayers and corresponding actions, they are important. Otherwise, yes, it is very easy to go into the complacency zone. Or it may be easy to go into the depressing zone. I can't do anything. I'm good for nothing. This process is not meant for me. I'm just making a show. This is another zone, another extreme. Another extreme is I can do anything. I don't need to be so sincere, so serious. I will practice bhakti aram se. So both are, dangerous. Depressed or callous. For that, we should always be in association, as this verse, today's verse, is telling. Association is indispensable. Dhruv Maharaj, when he was about to leave this world, this Vaikuntha Viman came. When Jai Vijay tells Vaikuntha, Dhruva Loka is waiting for you, please come. Now, what he has to do is just board the plane and he'll go. You know what he does? Nishamya Vaikuntha Niyojya Mukhyayo Madhuchuta Vacha Murukrama Priya Kritabhisheka Kritabnitya Mangalo Munin Pranamya Shishamabhyavadayat. Very, very profound Vaishnava behavior. Nishamya, when he heard Vaikuntha Niyojya, when he heard from the chief of the Vaikuntha Vasis, these words were like dripping with honey, Madhuchuta. Chalo abhi Vaikuntha vapas, it is waiting for you. But what he did? Krita Abhisheka, Krita Nitya Mangalo. He did his morning rituals. That means he told Sola Mala karke aunga. He did his morning rituals, and second is more important. Munin Pranamya Ashisham. He went to all the sages. He took blessings of everyone. What was the need for him to take blessings? He was already on the path and they were not going. Still, he went into blessings because a devotee knows it is by their blessings I am going. So it is very, very important to always, serve and get blessings of devotees. They will keep us, in a stretch zone. Otherwise, we'll become complacent or become stressed. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very enlightening class. Prabhuji, you were very clearly explaining about how whatever seva we are doing and how sometimes the distraction comes at the time of chanting. And currently also you said some devotees will keep us in stretch zone, otherwise we will get into stress. So when we are able to analyze all these things, and even the stretch zone will sometimes disturb the sadhana, how to handle it, Prabhuji? So should we stretch zone, even if it is in service, if it is interrupting in our sadhana? Sometimes if there is no such stretch zone, our sadhana is of good quality. So should we give importance for our sadhana, which is really helping in our personal progress, or we should often put us in our stretch zone, come in association and take some risk? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Very important. Our services in Krishna consciousness should not make us so absorbed that we can't absorb our mind in Krishna. S.B. Keshav Maharaj, one time he was sharing that somebody told him that it is very good that you are absorbed in services, but it is also a service to be absorbed. You know? So when we are doing our services, it is good that sometimes we are in intense anxiety to complete some seva. But if we are always in that anxiety and if we can't focus on chanting, that means we have to just slow down. And it is my personal experience since last few months. Somebody told me that slow down. You should devote time for your personal prayers, personal chanting, improve the quality of your chanting, and prayers, and then we can serve properly. Otherwise, if we are just on a march, on a run, doing projects one after another, there is an institutional success and there is personal success. Both are important. Institutionally, one may be very well accomplished, doing lots of services, opening big temples, doing lots of projects. But personal success is equally important. If we are not maintaining personal success, working on personal success, then after some years or decades, we'll feel, I'm not satisfied. I am not feeling that connection. Some days back, Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, he was giving a class and he told, if I am washing someone else's heart, it will not cleanse my heart. I have to work on cleansing my heart also. Of course, when I work to cleanse others' heart, that creates a favorable situation that attracts the mercy of the Lord. But we have to work on ourselves also. Then that mercy of the Lord will, transform our lives. So it is it is our individual responsibility. Institution demands seva, and we have to serve. That is the most important or one of the most important. At the same time, we should not forget that we have to work on our sadhana also with a peaceful mind. If our mind is always disturbed, how will we chant properly without any distraction? So we have to always keep a balance. Just running and doing things may, give us good name as a devotee in ISKCON. But if we are not working on sadhana, we will not be able to continue to practice more, serve more. We'll feel hollow from inside, because ultimately, if we keep drawing water from the well, it will get empty one day, right? If there is no water source connected to the well. So our sadhana is like that water supply. We have to focus on that also. Otherwise, how much we can give to others? We have a capacity, we have a limitation. And we want to serve, we want to preach unlimitedly. At the same time, we have to get nourished also. Both are important. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's a personal decision. Yes, Prabhu. I understand. Yeah, there are no more questions, and there are no questions in the chat also. So, if you allow, we can stop the. Yes, Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
रूपेश्च
sindhubhyeva
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च
patitaनां
पतितानां
कृपा
पावनेभ्यो
सिन्धुभ्येव च
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
पतितानां
भगवती
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णव
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
वैष्णवेंद्र की जय,
Srila
बोलो भागवत की
Prabhupada
जय,
ki
की
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
Srila
जय
Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
जय
जय।
Thank you so much.
जय।
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
so
Krishna
much.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
जय
Ram Ram, Hare
Nityananda,
Hare.
गौरंग
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Nityananda,
Pranam.
नंद
Wonderful class.
God bless
Hare
you.
Krishna.
गौरंग
thank
Hare
you,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna.
Hare
बोल
Thank you so
Ram,
much, dear
Rama Ram,
devotees, for
Hare
joining the
Hare.
full. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण हरि बोल
We'll end the call here. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
हरि
Krishna.
हरि बोल हरि बोल
Ram Prabhu, hope you got that link and you can join the WhatsApp group from the link which is there in that website.
Oh, thank you so much, Mataji. I'll be joining. Thank you so very much. God bless you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can you close?
Yes, Mataji.
You are joining from 2 devices.